Yeah.
Reconvene from the executive session at
Yeah.
8:20. 8:40. Solicitor advised us that we're going to start over with the new business. There'll be comment after every motion. So did we vote on planning or
I
the?
thought you went in for litigation.
They went to deal with
You're
our
supposed to
problem.
say there's more than litigation.
Potential litigation.
And personnel. We discussed the personnel.
It's a good thing
Did
it's
we
here.
vote on that, Tammy?
Yeah.
On the zoning,
Yes.
we had a second. And then
The guy, a roll call vote. There's no vote.
No.
Okay, so
Public comment.
what are you talking about?
We're back to zoning, right?
Yes,
They
I have
agree for
questions.
they agree for each one we could
I
comment.
have questions. What are you sending? I asked the planning commission the same thing. They couldn't answer me.
The 5/25/17 draft, that's the one we're sending.
With the lawyer's notes or,
I think that was drafted.
With the conditions that were added as part of the planning commission's motion.
okay,
Those
now,
changes have been made, and it's been sent to the supervisor.
did you guys review it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you fix the decibel thing that you was gonna talk to the expert decibel guy on?
I'm not here to answer any questions. You can ask all you want. I buried my brother this week, okay?
Told
You
you
wanna step back there and
$100.
yell at me? Go
All
right
right.
at it. Go
All
right
right,
at it. Go right at it.
I'm
not
asking,
engaging
I'm
yet.
simply asking.
I
I'm
did not
not
read it,
reading
I'm not reading it
And
until it
you're
goes to the county,
absurd.
then I'll read it, okay?
Yeah,
Plain
that's
simple.
Nancy Pelosi. We gotta pass it just to see what's in it. Congratulations.
JD,
That's pathetic.
thank you for your opinion, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, anytime.
Good, JD.
First of all, thank you. I assume Gary instructed you to follow your own rules and agenda that you changed at the beginning of the year.
It'll be changed next meeting.
Well, no doubt, no doubt.
First of all,
We're used to it. My opinion again.
Good, JD.
okay, first of all, that is not, you guys just voted to do something, and that's not the motion that was made. And Dave, I find it, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you actually disappointed me even more. In fact, you're voting to put something forward that you didn't even read.
That's right.
That's ridiculous.
I was here for all the planning commission meetings, all the changes that were made.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you
You
were
called me
not.
liar? I was here for every one, JD.
No, you were not.
Yes, I was.
Recently, when
What
this
sense
really
was-
heated up, but you were not from the beginning, you were not.
He left
Get to your
early.
point, JD.
Okay, the point is, you guys just made a motion to do something, and that's not what the motion was made to the planning commission. First of all, it did not say approve. It said accept and pass back to supervisors with not the date that you just said. I think it was Gary or Dave said that the date was 5/25. That wasn't the date. It was April 7th, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the motion was April 25th. It was not May's. And with as is, it was as is with the changes, the handwritten, are you guys even listening?
Yeah, we're listening.
Okay. The motion was to accept and send you guys with the version, with as is, with Crooney's handwritten changes in there. So the only version, what was voted, was that version as it stood, with those handwritten changes. If it went and there was a new version or edition amended and printed, that's not what the motion was. So that's just wrong, period. And secondly, you guys, I know there's no sense reasoning. I should probably go try to talk to the brick wall. But if you guys haven't seen the light by now, for God's sakes, and Doug, you're right, you buried your brother. And what's the first thing I said to you? Been there, done that, and I feel very sorry for you. And the hell, you know what? Really?
Get to your point, JD.
Yeah, I just come up and said that to, blow smoke up your butt like you do. I meant it with all sincerity, or I wouldn't have said it. I say what I mean and mean what I say, unlike some others in this room. Okay? First of all, You two, Dave and Zach, have followed this man blindly for the last, what, year and a half? Where has it got you? He's still gonna be sitting there in 6 months, 7 months, and you two are not, outside looking in. The people voted, you know, all along, we've been trying to get to see light and do what the people want. And they spoke when they voted to add 2 more supervisor positions. They spoke when they wanted to do the survey, you pulled that back. They spoke just in May by an overwhelming majority. Is that not telling you guys anything? And you still just want to ram it through, and the hell with the people. And
Well, I
wait-
guess the false, go ahead, JD, I'm sorry, you finished and I'll talk.
Okay, and that's fine. And Dave, we had a discussion at that poll. If you recall, and Zach, I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but I was at that poll all day. Things went smooth, no problems, sat beside Lee, sat beside Zach, had good conversations, was eating side by side, offered water, it was peaceful. Till you got there, Dave, and you conducted yourself there, just like you do here, in a rude, professional,
Unprofessional.
yes, sorry, I stand corrected. I apologize. I was wrong. Rude, unprofessional, immature manner. Just like you did now when you're smirking when you're going out there when the people's trying to speak. And you were wrong. You heard me say something to a resident, and you thought I was talking about something else about you didn't have nothing to do with you. And you called me out on it, and you were rude and unprofessional to me. And I explained it to you, and I told you what it was about. It didn't have nothing to do with it. It had to do with the bridge down at Lake Road and 40. And you wonder why things are the way they are, because it's not about what you're doing, it's how you're going about it and doing it. You keep just going about it the wrong way, not doing things right, and basically spitting in our face and saying it doesn't matter, we don't give a shit, we're going to do what we want, doesn't matter what you people say. And you wonder why the people are upset. You wonder why these meetings get heated. It's because the way you guys conduct yourselves and the things you're doing. Just do it right. Kathy, what it has to do with this motion is you were the one that made the motion, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what they just read back is not what you said. Right or wrong?
I said the revised motion that Mike was to come up with all the changes that we had done. I don't know what the date was gonna be on it, because I have no idea when Mike was gonna sit down and revise.
Now, you said the date that night. On the record, you said the date of that version with the written changes.
The version we were working on was from 4/3 of 2017.
Okay.
We had had 3 meetings on that one.
Right.
With all the corrections.
Right, and that's what the motion you
And
made.
that's what Mike was supposed to be working with. What the new date was, I don't know. I had no idea when Mike was gonna be able to sit down, add in all the corrections we had made, and come up with a new version.
That's my point, Kathy. There wasn't to be a new date. The motion you made was to accept the version that was out there with the hand
There has to be a new date
rate.
when he revises it, JD.
No, the motion you made was to send what he had with his handwritten notes. That's what you made. Do you have the minutes? Pull them and check them.
Come on. We know what's being submitted on.
I was there, and okay, then why don't you tell us? Enlighten. Try. Why don't you guys try being honest with the people?
Right there.
And
That document right there.
5/25/17.
okay, and that's not the motion that was made that night.
Well, that
That's what I'm
document,
saying.
whatever date's on it, is the document that's going to the county.
Okay, that's not the motion that was made, so
If the
you're.
vote passes. Right? Come on, yeah.
Why don't you
Come
just,
on, yeah.
why don't you guys just come forward, tell the people, be honest with the people that you represent, tell us what the whole ball wax is, what the agenda is, what this is all about, and be upfront and honest with everybody instead of doing all this, executive session and being rude and unprofessional. Do it like you should.
Joe Tong.
Why would you cost the township so much money to get this through when you're not gonna be there and it's gonna cost a whole bunch of money? Now, if you're for the township, it's gonna cost another whole bunch of money to get that shit thrown out. Now, anybody with common sense would say, I'm for the township, the people don't want it, bang, it's gone. Forget about it. Why go through all this $30,000 to some woman to talk, a whole bunch of money for this and that there, and now then put it through, and then 6 months later, there we are spending more money to get rid of it. Because the majority of the people does not want it, and it's not going to stand.
How many residences in the township?
3,000.
That's right, how many voted? How many voted? Kathy, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Tom. How many voted?
I know that enough of them
How many
voted.
voted?
Everybody had the right to vote.
Yes.
The people who cared voted. 81% spoke, and that's the majority, and that's where we are.
You're counting people that don't vote now?
If you're using that logic, more people didn't vote for you than
You
did
know
vote
what?
for you.
I'm gonna be out of here real soon, and I'm gonna be the one back there throwing darts just like Yuns are, so I can't wait for that day. to
Why
come.
would you throw, I'm
I
not
can't
throwing
wait.
darts.
Because you want what you want, and not what the people want.
All for a vote on the
How
motion.
do you vote? Dave Ely,
Yes.
Doug Teagarden,
Yes.
Zach Prescott.
Yes.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Because they vote what they want and
The
not what
planning
the
commission
people want.
recommended approval for Robert Rogers subdivision plan of 16.85 9 acres at 181 West Liberty Road, West Alexandria. Motion to approve Robert Rogers subdivision.
Second.
Any questions?
Dave,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Following campground applications were submitted by the planning commission. George Plants, one site at 9 6th Street, Claysville, and Charles Ely for 2 sites at 2619 East Finley Drive, Claysville. Planning commission recommended approval. Motion to approve George Plants' campground application as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
how do you vote? Dave,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Motion to approve Charles Ely's campground application as presented.
So moved.
Any questions?
how do you vote? Dave,
Yes.
Doug, Zach,
Yes.
An advertisement was placed in the Observer Reporter for resumes for the road department positions. 4 resumes were received. Supervisors interviewed applicants on Tuesday, June 13, 2017. Motion to hire for the road department position.
We interviewed 3 candidates last night. And of the 3, I recommend, make a motion that we hire Derek Ewing for the part-time temporary road department position.
Can we know who the other 2 were?
When we get there, we're not there yet.
Okay. Well, you're gonna hire somebody,
It's gotta be second first.
okay, I understand.
I'll second.
Any questions?
Yeah, can we know who the other 2 applicants were?
There was a total of 3, but 1 didn't show up, so.
All right, then
Yeah.
who was the other one that you interviewed?
Sean Russmeisel,
And
that's a no-show.
James Wilson.
James Wilson.
Wasn't me.
Thank you.
What's the rate?
14, Ed, wasn't it 14 something? According to the contract?
1486 or something like that.
I thought that's what you
Just
sent
in
me.
class 3.
I thought that's what you sent me. Yeah, 1419, 1419.
That's part of the motion, at that rate.
Is that, you said it's temporary,
Temporary as
For
needed.
right now.
as needed, which means he won't get in the union?
If you meet the qualifications of the union, you'll get in it. If you want to.
And that's 90 days.
I believe it's 90 days in the contract.
How does that work when it was part-time?
I have to review the contract and see what it says about it. I don't know off the top of my head.
That's a good question, Dave. Good.
Any other questions?
how do you vote? Dave,
Yes.
Doug,
I'm going to abstain because I was not present.
Zach,
Yes.
A letter was received from the road department's union representative whom is interested in negotiating an extension to the current agreement, which is set to expire in 2018.
Yeah, I have a letter here that's from the International Union of Operating Engineers. While reviewing my contracts that are set to expire in 2018, it seems that it will have a large volume of agreements expiring next year. That being said, I decided to reach out to several different employers, Dongle Township being one of them, to see if there would be an interest in negotiating an extension to the current agreement now in place. If this request is something the township will be willing to entertain, please contact me at your earliest convenience to schedule a meeting to discuss such. I thank you in advance for your consideration of this request. If you should have any questions, feel free to contact me and give his phone number. Ron Cord, the business agent, operating union of, International Union of Operating Engineers, local number 66.
Motion to negotiate an extension to the current agreement with the road department.
Also move.
Second.
Any questions?
An extension just keeps it as it is, it stays static, it's just more time on the same contract.
As long as they don't, ask for retroactive.
It probably will be, I'm gonna, yes, there'll be some changes in it. Extension,
Well, it's not an extension, it's a renegotiation if there's changes.
I'm gonna guess that there will be some changes in it. I don't know, but money's one issue, you know.
What's the,
Well, is more money part of the quote extension?
Well, it's not what this, I just read you what this said.
Right, I know that.
I know this much. That's all I know.
All right.
I would watch the length of the extension because you don't want to be in the dead of winter and have a strike.
Gary. Because of an
That's usually
election
when
year
they strike,
where there's a
though.
lot of there's a lot of positions open for the supervisors, that you think that would be good for the supervisors to go ahead and do that now?
It's not our request, though. It's not, they've requested it to us.
Right, but don't you
You're
have to
gonna
vote to
honor
go
their
to
request.
negotiations, that's what you're going, with a motion? Well, that's wwhy I'm asking Gary that question.
I mean, that's just.
Because I'm not sure how to ask that.
Do you know what time in
but-
2018 that contract
Or
expires?
is that Ewing's thing?
It's end of the year, isn't it, Ed?
ER.
I'm sorry, the end of the year.
Yep,
So it's up until December of 2018.
yep.
Got it.
But if they negotiated now,
Right.
it would go to, what is it, a 3-year contract?
5.
5. It would go all the way to 2023
Right.
if they negotiated before it's
If-
even
if
But
close.
we
if
done a
he's
5-year.
if he's going for more money, it's not an extension, it's a renegotiation.
Correct.
Do you want to correct or change the motion?
Yeah, to extend or, what, was the right word?
To begin negotiations
Begin neg-
on
Yeah,
the contract that's set to expire
yes,
December 31, 2018.
right, it could be an extension, it could be a renegotiation. I don't know.
Okay. Did you change your motion, Doug?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll second.
Any questions of that?
Now, all you're doing is agreeing to discussing with the guy.
That's correct.
Okay.
How do you vote?
And then whatever you think will be brought to,
It has to come back to a public meeting. for-
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yes.
what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Dave,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Rick Lowe, custodian, was hired on 10/5/16 at $12.08 an hour. Motion to increase Rick's pay to $13.08, increase effective the next pay period.
Also move.
Second.
Any questions?
He did a great job.
how do you vote? Dave,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Mark Gordon, code enforcement officer, was hired 2/20/17 for 5 hours a week. Motion to increase Mark's hours to 10 hours a week.
So moved.
Second.
Questions on that?
Yes,
I think it's bad
I have
timing
questions.
for-
I have questions.
Wait, the board has questions.
Does he have availability to have any hours?
I talked to him and he said he could make some adjustments and he could give us another 5 hours a week.
And you believe that's needed?
There's plenty out there for him to do, I think.
Any other questions?
Well, my comment, first of all, I don't think there's plenty out there for him to do. I mean, how many violations, unless they're invented? And the new ordinance has yet to pass, so he can only operate on the existing ordinances.
He's not gonna, he has nothing to do with zoning ordinance.
Well, he's a code violation. What do you mean?
Code
code?
enforcement
That's
officer.
current ordinance is already on the books.
That's what
he said.
that's what I just said. So code
Ordinances.
all right, and I don't see us as being so,
We made a
such
map.
lawbreakers that we need him to be kept in. What?
Forgetting, he's only here because we made him mad.
It's okay. I just think it's bad timing and it's not a good idea, not now. We need the money, and though it's a little bit, that little bit adds up over a year,
In 5 more hours, you can donate to the road department.
right? To my Ely Road.
Go, JD.
What did we pay him an hour?
Too much.
$15.
15.
Okay, I got a questioner's suggestion. I'll keep this peaceful. Doug, you made a comment a meeting or two ago about there's a lot of things coming up, a lot of development that could be a lot of good done. Could also be a lot of harm done, right? So I'm going to put a suggestion out there that, you know, we can, it's 7 months till the first of the year. We can come together and work together, and you guys can help those trying to make change and try to work together to help the community and make it better, you know, and put the ship on the right course, steer it going the right direction. Or you can take this next 7 months to just stay on the course you're on and sink the ship. I would make the suggestion, instead of penalizing everybody, I mean, it's like anything else. There's some people that are in violation and stuff needs done. But why don't we spend that money and have somebody head up, maybe Mr. Gordon knows somebody or something, and maybe start a volunteer program that maybe once a month you take that list, instead of finding these people and taking them to court that can't afford to make the improvements or keep up with their place, and then add on top of it, pay somebody to help them. Start a volunteer organization of members that once a month you go around and help the people. Maybe somebody can't mow their grass or doesn't have the money to fix their porch or whatever, and they can come in here and get on a list that they need to help, that they maybe would like to comply. And they are either not able, either financially or physically, and maybe try to help them instead of hurt them and put them farther under. How about something like that? Maybe a good start.
That's a great idea.
JD, is that a volunteer statement for you to head that up and solicit volunteers and get it rolling?
I would volunteer.
We had
You guys are in
volunteer
charge.
programs Saturday.
I'm saying instead of,
We just had
Heard
a
it.
successful day of community care, none of which any of you were involved in, but a lot of people sitting here were.
just like the community cleanup, you guys nixed that, okay? So that was an opportunity for people to get rid of some of the trash laying around. So you guys took away the community cleanup, you're spend more money on the code enforcement officer to penalize those people that have that stuff sitting around that couldn't get rid of it because you took away the community cleanup. It's counterproductive.
And did you know why we have a code enforcement officer?
Go ahead.
Do you know why?
Go ahead.
And John can attest to it. I have repeatedly, over the last 4 or 5 years, urged the police to do what they've always done in this township, and that to be an ordinance enforcement. And John indicated to me that there were other things that have become much more important than other drug issues and theft and whatever else, and I understand that.
I agree.
And they didn't have the time nor the hours to devote to that. That's why we have a code enforcement officer, is to give those guys, you know, the time to do the thing they need to do. And then John can tell you, and probably can show you, he got numerous letters that he had to write for the house that was falling over the hill up there. I don't know how many times you contacted those people that owned the bank building. He constantly were after them, constantly after the lady that owned the shops that she finally sold out. And those were just the issues that I could quickly recall. That's why we have a code enforcement officer, is that unless you want those guys taking the time for going out.
No, not at all. I agree with that.
You know, that's why we have one. And it was in the suggestion of the police department
So then his idea was it to raise his hours.
on the
Well,
agenda.
Zach went to talk to him, so obviously somebody came up with the idea that should have more hours.
It
didn't
appear magically.
Well, how do you think things get on the agenda, Bob?
I don't know. If you
That's
think-
what
I don't
she's
think she
asking.
is. How did it get on the agenda?
The supervisor requested it be put
Which
on the
one
agenda.
of
Does
you?
it make a difference?
Really, yeah.
No, I don't think it does.
Why did it make a difference?
Well, you accept anonymous complaints about people's property. And you guys, once again, have, people feel attacked in the community. They don't have the money to fix up their houses. If they had the money to do it, they would. They don't. They're busy feeding their kids. Do you realize how cold and heartless it makes you guys look?
There's more
And
than
now,
that.
you're adding. You don't feel it makes you look cold and heartless? Because it does.
People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Okay?
I
Don't even know what that means.
no idea what that means.
Comment.
But like I said, you are taking
Neither does he.
people to court for thousands and thousands of dollars.
How many people, who been taken to court?
Yeah,
No, we haven't done any of
There's
that.
one at the end of the month.
Who is it?
There's one at the end of the month. I don't know, since you don't have to answer which supervisor, I don't have to answer who you took to court, who you're taking to court at the end of the month.
You know everything else, I thought you'd know that too.
I do, but I don't have to tell you. Apparently that's the way it works.
You're the queen.
I know, I
She
keep
is.
saying that, nobody will give me a crown. Give me
Give
a
her a
crown.
crown.
Call for a vote.
Ed has a question in the back.
Go ahead, Ed.
I can't believe
I think JD made a pretty good comment there. I thought about this myself.
I don't want to.
Let's help instead of hurt. And you guys are sitting there, and I appreciate what you do, but instead of trying to hurt these people, you know, maybe they don't have the money. Well, if Mr. Gordon goes out and gives them a citation, let us know about it so that we can help our neighbors.
Yes.
I love that.
Please,
Now,
thank
if they
you.
have a repeat offense, then I say they're on their own. You cannot help someone who will not help themselves. But everybody needs to step up once in a while.
Yep.
So why don't we join together as a community with our supervisor's support and help these people that need the help?
I don't know anybody else in the table has a problem with people volunteering to do work.
JD volunteered to head it up,
Yep,
you know,
fine.
if he can
coordinate
coordinate,
it, that's fine.
you know, and. put
No, I
them-
said I would volunteer, that they're in charge.
Well, they
and
gave
they
us
should-
permission to, you know, Mark Gordon can correspond with you over these issues he sees. and-
Does he talk to the people that he cites or that are
I
in?
don't think they get, in my understanding, I've never asked about any specific case, they don't cite anybody until the last possible time. I mean, they give every opportunity to
That's
try
not
to.
true.
Yeah, it's not
John,
true.
do you know anything about it?
No, sir, I haven't had any dealings with Mr. Gordon.
One at court, going to court this week, going next week.
We've had, as township residents, we've had very little, he's been here at one meeting. I think he's public shy, and you guys want to give him more hours. You know, it looks to me like it's kangaroo court, so you're gonna do it, but maybe you ought to make your motion as long, he can have his extra hours as long as he shows up at the meetings and gives his report instead of Doug reading it.
I'm not in favor of paying him hours to come read reports.
Didn't he say, I think he said that night that he would be here at each meeting to report.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he said that.
We on the Mark Gordon thing?
Yes.
I have a-
Do a report.
I have a comment. Are we still on comment? Mr. Gordon has fined a family in the town that they have made their improvements, and it's still going to court.
Who levies a fine? Mr. Gordon levies fines?
Yes, he does.
I thought it was the magistrate. that did
No,
that.
the fine, no, it has
But you
already
took
gone
them
to
to
court.
court is our point.
Yes.
Who decides it? Ethan Ward decides that, what the fine's going to be or whether they're guilty or not, correct?
You made the decision.
It's initiated from the
But you
township.
just
Ethan
said
Ward
that he
makes that
didn't,
decision.
but you just said that he didn't send any on, and he has.
I didn't, until this night, I didn't know there were any citations.
He has certain.
It's been on the books for
police
over a month.
Are you in
I'm aware
charge
of it.
of Mark,
I
or does he
know.
just
I
do
don't-
whatever he wants?
I don't know. I don't
Aren't you in
read
charge of
it.
the
I don't-
office?
I-
Because
I
that's who
don't-
types it up.
It doesn't make any difference. I specifically told the office, and Tammy can verify, that I don't want to know anything about the cases that he's working on.
Plausible
Did I tell you that?
deniability.
Did I tell you that?
Well, I think,
I don't want to be accused of putting any of you people on a list.
of targeting, yeah, well,
Guess what?
that's a different subject, but honestly,
Who
the
does he
chief,
answer
the
to?
chief comes and gives his report in person. Ed comes and gives his report in person. I don't think it's too much to ask to have him stand here and take the heat.
And does Mr. Gordon work on Mondays, correct?
That's
That-
my knowledge.
Yeah, well, he's been on Wednesdays, just so you know, on people's properties, on Wednesdays.
Trespassing.
At this township,
I'll
trespassing.
bring charges against them.
A couple questions.
I don't know, I'm on
Eddie.
the list, you have to tell me.
You can do, I don't have to on the list. You're on a lot of lists.
I know, I
You're on
said
my
that.
list.
Couple questions. Eddie, are you getting paid to sit there?
They give me
Let's
$100
call for a vote.
For what?
stipend paid for
$132
dealing with
and
the guys
some change.
coming to meetings.
Yes.
Right, that's, you're not getting paid to sit there, your hourly
So many
wage or
hours.
whatever. You're here, that's part of your,
And leave with a
What did you
headache.
just do? Did you just vote to approve
Go
that?
ahead, Dave.
They just
Oh,
did it in
yeah.
5 more hours, they doubled his time.
I told
Who
him, he's
does
gonna
he-
keep giving the
Griffin
money
Home
away.
Services-
who does he answer to, Doug, if he doesn't answer to you, if you're in charge of the office?
Griffin Home Services submitted an estimate for a drop ceiling and new lighting in the hallway downstairs. The estimate came in $8,500. Motion to approve or deny Griffin Home Services to do the work.
I'd like to make
We're
a
gonna
motion
approve that.
For them to do the work with Act 13 funds, not to exceed $8,500.
Any questions?
Besides cosmetic, what's the reason for putting in a drop ceiling?
One is heat,
What?
to put the heat out and vents, which we just have one big vent coming out through a window right now. A lot of it's cosmetic. There's no structural reason for it. Replace those 40 or 50 or 60-year-old lights and switches and things like that.
In the hall that nobody's ever
And
in.
quite a few people use that, sir.
Well, that's a community center's hallway
Yes,
too as
yes,
well.
it is.
You don't split that with them, do you?
We are the community center.
Okay. I know you have different funds for that. but you-
Well, they run a checking account, yeah, but it's administered by the township.
But the key word, that whole thing was exceed, as long as it doesn't exceed.
Not to
that, we're good.
exceed.
Yeah.
Any other questions? How you vote?
Dave,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
J.D. Martin was issued a building permit on May 13, 2016. He changed his mind about the contractor prior to the permit expiring, has requested a refund of $1,016. Dorchester Bain, $422, Donegal, $590, State, $4. Motion to refund J.D. Martin's.
Got a copy of this must be the original permit and the application. And I had Tammy type up a letter, if you would sign it, JD. It says that you're requesting these funds to be returned to you.
Now, I want to speak about it first.
Well, I'd like to see it in writing, so we have something written to take action on. You can read this if you agree with it, you can sign it. If you don't like it, you can